Hi, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Monday, September the 26th. Some cooler fall air arrived this morning and not a moment too soon. There's going to be a lot of hot air on television tonight as Donald Trump faces Hillary Clinton in the first presidential debate. Hillary Clinton has been prepping, doing all-nighters undoubtedly to be prepared. Donald Trump says he doesn't need to prepare for a debate. He knows everything already. I suspect this debate will be decided by the public on grounds beyond command of facts. That's been the case in the presidential race so far. Personalities and interactions are probably a lot more important. The world will be watching. It could be very important. The polls are at virtual dead heats in nearly all the accountings. State Representative John Walker, the famous civil rights lawyer, and a law partner of his, Omabi Kushikuru, were arrested at 11:30 a.m. this morning by Little Rock police for obstructing governmental operations. That's a misdemeanor charge. The details are hazy at this time. An employee in Walker's office said they were photographing a police stop of another person, and apparently the police didn't like being photographed. Walker was an advocate for a law passed in 2015 that gives people an absolute right to photograph police officers at work in a public setting. If I know John Walker, he probably added some commentary that undoubtedly didn't help the situation, but that's allowed under the First Amendment too. So more to come. They were booked at the county jail and had to post a $1,000 bond to get out. This happened to occur on the day that the U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch was in town to talk about violence reduction efforts by Little Rock and some other cities with high crime rates. The violent crime rate increased in the United States in 2015, although the property crime rate went down. She announced a $20 million program to put body cameras on police officers to increase accountability so that we'll know police officers acted properly when they interact with the public. Don't think the Little Rock officer who arrested John Walker was wearing a body camera today. That might have been interesting photography work as well. News on the juvenile justice system also comes out of Washington, and Arkansas figures in it. There is, in a Congress that's been able to pass almost anything of substance, broad bipartisan agreement on some juvenile justice reform legislation. It's passed the House. It has nearly unanimous support in the Senate. It would end adult lockup of juveniles. It would end shackling of pregnant prisoners. It would do a lot of good things for taking care of juvenile line system, in jailing juveniles for status offenses like truancy and breaking curfew. There's one big problem, and his name is Tom Cotton. This is another one of those issues where Tom Cotton alone is essentially exercising a veto over legislation that the broad majority of Congress wants. Tom Cotton doesn't compromise. I don't expect he will on this, just like he doesn't on judicial appointments. Why he's so popular is somewhat beyond me. Here's some strange bedfellows. Secure Arkansas, the anti-immigrant group, the Religious Right Family Council, and the very liberal Arkansas Times columnist Max Brantley all agree on something. All of us have now come out strongly against the amendment proposed by the nursing home lobby that would set a limit as low as $250,000 on abuse and neglect of nursing home patients and other people cared for by other health care institutions. It would really be an effective end to jury trials in Arkansas for damage cases of those sorts. Perhaps this weird coalition can bring defeat of that issue. It's still under challenge in the court. A Pulaski County deputy early this morning shot a man who was on a porch with a gun in a rural home west of the city on Colonel Glenn Road and wouldn't surrender his weapon or surrender himself. He was not a homeowner there. He was acting strangely. He told other people who were witnesses that a drone or a helicopter was following him. He hasn't yet been identified. Jason Rapert, everybody's favorite state senator, made the pages of the New York Times Sunday. He and 20 other religious so-called leaders, some really famous right-wingers like James Dobson and Creflo Dollar, signed an ad declaring their dependence on God and the Bible. A declaration of dependence, they called it. It's all about abortion and same-sex marriage. They just will not yield to abortions or to sexual perversions like homosexuality, which they equated in the same league with bestiality. My advice to them is if you don't like abortion, don't have one, and if you don't want to mess around with donkeys, don't. So that's my advice to Jason Rapert. He's in the full-time preaching business. And finally, a word of warning, if you don't already know it, Wednesday morning is Bridgeageddon. The closure of the Broadway Bridge for replacement downtown traffic is going to be horrible without that major link across the river. Find a new way to get to work and go home, or perhaps change your commuting time. Otherwise, you're going to have some unhappy moments. That's it for today. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.